What's the dumbest way you've gotten a scar? I have a scar on my forearm from a weaponized paper airplane I taped razor blades to and launched with a rubber band. I believe that is the first time I've ever seen the phrase weaponized paper airplane. FBI on here taking notes like, write that down, write that down. Edit, didn't think this was a good meme, but now it's my most upvoted comment. Thanks, internet people. Don't touch the iron, it's hot. Can't be that hot. Narrator, it was. I was 7, Mom said don't use that knife to cut that orange, I used that knife to cut that orange. Things I learned, orange juice in a wound stings but not as much as the knowledge you can't go crying to your mom. Boys from my class were throwing CDS like you throw frisbee. One of those hit me right between the eyes. Still got a small scar there. I used a pressure washer on my foot. I knew a guy that blew a hole straight through his foot with one. We had those huge pressure washers using a truck motor and could cut steel. So, what exactly would you wash with a pressure washer that could cut steel? Using very high pressure water is starting to gain popularity in dockyards to strip paint and rust from ship hulls. Having had the displeasure of cleaning up a ship after a dock visit where they did a lot of sandblasting. Man, I wish they'd used high pressure water. I have one on the back of my hand from rubbing the skin off with a pencil eraser longer than the other kid did when I was 13 just to prove I was tough. My brother, sister and I all have the same kind of scar in our left eyebrow and got them at the same age. My brother opened an empty dresser drawer and smacked himself in the face, my sister ran into a brick wall and I fell off the couch onto a coffee table. Edit, I'm amazed how much this comment blew up throughout the day. Hundreds of comments. I took the time to read each and every one of them. Took a while but I did it. Couldn't help but upvote each one. It was a pleasure reading each story and it's crazy just how many of us have the same scar from a coffee table. Much love everyone. I'm picturing this all happening in the same 5 minutes and your parents come home to everybody bleeding out. Blood everywhere, kids quietly playing video games in the living room, bleeding profusely from their heads. I was trying to squeeze between two cars. One of the cars must have had a jagged bumper because it sliced a 2-inch gash in my leg. At first I was thinking you were driving a car yourself and wondering how the duck you scarred yourself while inside a car. He was the car. Car to human conversion therapy is rough. Edit, rip my inbox. For my 8th birthday, a classmate got me something like a grow your own stalagmite kit you could buy at educational stores. Apparently, the purpose was to add water to some powder material, and use a funnel in the kit to drip it down to make your own cave features. Exciting, I know. Anyway, I kept it and the other birthday presents I got in a cardboard box in my room. Evidently, at some point, moisture got into the box and the plastic the powder was in, and it began expanding. Having nowhere else to go, the stalagmite material oozed its way out through the narrow slits in its box, and hardened into razor-sharp edges. I found this out quite bloodily when I put my hand into my birthday box to grab another toy, and pulled it out with permanently altered fingerprints on my thumb, index, and middle fingers. Ouchies. I got cut by a vacuum. A ducking vacuum. Elaborate, my friend. Spider on my arm. Violently jerked arm as an attempt to get the spider off. Vacuum was there. Scar. Spider on my arm, violently shook it off, vacuum was there. Scar. I'm not haiku bot, it just needed to be done. Edit, adjusting middle stanza to account for my heathen dialect, which omitted a syllable in violently. Good Redditor. 7-year-old me was helping my mom iron clothes. I pulled on the cord, the iron fell and smacked me right in the face. I still have a scar above my right eye. Edit, who the duck gave this a wholesome award? Brew. I got Home Alone vibes from that. Skull fracture with epidural hematoma, Marv is dead. 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 1 was fine. Sure, they took way too much damage to be realistic, but it's a kid's movie. 2 was ridiculous. Kid threw a goddamn brick from a 4-story building and cracked his skull. He got electrocuted and turned into a skeleton. If they didn't die in 1, they ducking died in 2. There's enough damage in 1 to kill either one of them. youtube.com. I got hit on the bridge of my nose by a ceramic toilet seat when I was learning to pee like a big boy. Now I think about it, that's probably the best outcome there. Why was your nose close enough to get hit? I was just learning to wee in the grown-up toilet, and I thought I was clever. Went to my grandparents' old clanker of a toilet without a step or anything. Tippy toes to get any sort of beat on the target. The lid was one of those that you think is going to stay up, but actually needs holding or it falls down. I didn't know this, it fell down. Phew. You could have taken a fatal hit if you weren't defending with the other head. I was in middle school and we were going to see Coach Carter in theaters with the boys' b-ball team. Middle school me was pumped. While in the shower I thought, Coach Carter, I bet they do push-ups in that movie. I'ma do push-ups right now. Tried to do a wall push-up. Slipped, smacked my face on the edge of the tub, and split my upper lip open from mouth to nose. Needless to say, did not make it to the movie. When I deliberately cut myself. Not seriously, I just wanted the word ninja on my hand. Don't ask me why. Wow. You carved ninja on your hand? Can you share a pic? I am very curious. It was a long time ago, you can't see much anymore, just one line of the first N, sorry. I knew a guy who got a prison tattoo style Nike logo on his arm. He managed to cover it up, mostly, with your typical crosses, graves, skulls artwork. I was headbanging my hair dry in the bathroom. I hit the counter. I was 8. I legit laughed alone in my empty office when I read this. A calamity, indeed, Miss Jane. Thanks for the Monday morning smiles. So I broke my right arm when I was a kid, then decided to put a cast on me. My skin under my cast is so itchy, it's like my skin is alive. When 2 months have passed, I decided to scratch my skin under the cast using a pen since my fingers couldn't reach further areas. While doing so, I accidentally put the pen further away inside that I can't remove it under my cast since I can't reach it. Then I just ignored it after that, thinking that it will be just fine, and I didn't tell that to my parents since they would be mad. After 2 months, they decided to remove my cast since it's already due, but the night before removing my cast, my mom noticed that my arm smells rotten. So fast forward, they removed the cast in my arm in the hospital. Then they noticed that the pen was penetrating my skin for months and the hole is about the size of a penny full of pus. I didn't even feel a thing. After that, the hole eventually became a penny-sized scar in my skin. A similar thing once happened to me. I always have an earring in, but since they're small I never take them out or even touch them. A few years ago, I wore it a little too tight, and when I tried removing it, I realized I couldn't. So I asked my mom to help, and she said my skin started growing over my earring. It didn't leave a scar, but I've kept my earring loose ever since. Edit. Wow, it's nice to know so many people did this when they were little, and then here I am doing it as a teenager XD. This happened to me too. I was around 8 years old and my gym teacher noticed that my lobes were scabbed over. She sent me to the nurse, who then called my dad. We went home where he sat me at the kitchen table and attempted to remove the earrings. It was a screaming match of me telling him it hurt and telling me to stop wiggling. It took about an hour to sort out both ears. Neither scarred, but we did have to let them heal closed, and I waited about a year before getting them pierced again. I have 2 from when I was a kid. Running around in the dark on a school roof, tripped over and ripped my hand to shreds. Jumping and sliding on a door that had been kicked in, jumped straight onto a nail that went in my knee. I was a stupid kid. What do you mean by ripped my hand to shreds? Multiple deep cuts. I don't think I still have the scar on my hand, but I ran my hand along a door once when I was little and a nail was sticking out. It sliced me open right on the palm crease that runs to the edge under my pinky. Also, earlier this year, I was trying to run for the train to work, but a lady was blocking the whole escalator. When I got up to her, I said excuse me and tried to scooch around her, but I don't know if I tripped on her or a stair, but I did, and I took a dive right into one of the escalator stairs, which had teeth, and it had gouged my knee open. I bled everywhere, and had to call into work so I could go get 3 stitches because I could see my kneecap bone. I still have that scar, and it still kinda hurts.